everyone, welcome to the channel. In today's session, we are diving into integrating Microsoft Foundry into intelligent solution brought to you by CloudDad. We'll explore how to integrate Azure OpenAI with Azure AI services like language, vision and search, and learn how to design AI 102 aligned architecture using OpenAI models and other powerful Azure capabilities. Let's get started.
Before we get started, let me just introduce you myself. My name is Mr. Akhilash Nambiar. I'm a Microsoft Technology Associate, Microsoft Certified Trainer at CloudDad Technologies Private Limited. I hold a degree in Information Science and Engineering, and I have a skill set in completely from call center, sales, marketing, and then I started into becoming into SME, where now I have worked with lots of subject matter expertise, and currently I'm working as an artificial intelligence engineer. So these are some of the skill sets which I have earned so far, and I have been having like around 22 Microsoft badges, 3 in Oracle, 6 in Databricks, 3 in AWS also as well. These are my hard work onto this after a long time. And I had privilege to say I'm now the second time Microsoft Certified Quality Trainer Award with the top 100 Microsoft certified trainers. So basically, there are nearly 22,000 MCTs throughout the world. In that, getting into the top 100 is one of my privileges, which helped me with my hard work. And these are some of the things. I have trained more than 11,000 plus participants throughout the world. And these are some of the achievements which I have. Also, as well as I'm working as an artificial intelligence engineer and I'm also a data scientist, I have these many kinds of training skill sets and much more which we have done. These are all the batches. I have taken more than 700 plus batches throughout my lifetime. So these are some of the batches which are my basic clients. So I'm just now going to be taking a whiteboard and we are going to be taking this particular session completely on generative AI. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen right now. Let me share my screen. It's going to be a whiteboard. Okay, and we are going to go into the whiteboard technologies over here. So I would not be taking much into the PPT and make you guys bored onto that. And I would like to take it in my style over here so that you can actually see how the things are actually working. Okay, now you can actually put it in the chat and I'll be able to see you guys completely over here. Now, guys, so if you guys are very well familiar, you have to understand that we have been completely going into AI completely into a rampage. Okay, so what we are actually going to be looking into is we have lots of, just a moment. Yeah, I'll be taking this. So yes, we are into developing generative AI apps and utilizing the Azure. So let's first get going and see how this is actually working. Okay, so what is the artificial intelligence? What do you think the word artificial intelligence is all about? So if you see right now, AI has completely changed the game completely. Now, if you see, things have come from traditional AI where you have vision service, speech service, information text, and NLP, much more. But now from 2022, 30th November onwards, you got into OpenAI completely, where OpenAI came and established its record breaking. Things have started to move into generative AI. And in the following years of 2023 and a half, when it started happening, you came again with AI agents. The most important thing you have to understand in this coming time, what you're going to be seeing, yes, IoT is one of the things. So you have a thing called ambient AI. Now, if you look into ambient AI is nothing but IoT plus AI. This is very phenomenally going to be working around very soon also as well. Then comes the neurosymbolic AI, where you have a huge case study of NLP and deep learning. Combination of these is going to be very, very vital also as well. Again, above than that, you have one more thing AI going to be, that is called physical AI. Physical AI involves robotics plus AI together. Now, big example for physical AI is Sophie from Dubai, which is a very phenomenal one, which is for physical AI also as well. Then, last but not least, we have AGI, artificial general intelligence. Yes. Now, this is actually the one the whole companies are actually behind. Okay. Be it Microsoft Copilot, be it Google Gemini, be it OpenAI, and much more. The most important thing about AGI is to achieve the Turing machine test, where you don't get to have a differentiation between whether it is a human made or whether it is an AI made. You cannot identify whether it is a human or whether it is AI generated. This is what is the main goal of the AGI. artificial general intelligence. If you are very familiar right now, we are actually into the Gen AI method. And once it comes to Gen AI, we are going into the AI agents also as well. Now, keep in mind, this is completely into uh, this one, enterprise level. So you have to be very, very good enough to customize it based on your requirements. So let's go on today's focus today. Okay, let's plan and prepare to develop an AI solution on Azure. Okay, sometimes what we are going to be having, we are going to have lots of contents in our hands. Okay, these contents are basically called as foundation model. Now, if you have a particular foundation model in your required hand, what you can do, you can actually go and train utilizing the deep learning process. Deep learning process in the sense you're going to be utilizing neural networks complete to connect. This is how a foundation model has been connected to make a large language model. Once you have a large language model, you're going to be having a huge amount of data over here. This huge amount of training data is basically around 70 billion parameters, which is also known as weights. That was the initial stage which you had it in 30th November 2022. Okay. And after that, now it is more than 5 trillion plus data, which is a huge amount, or like a city level kind of a data which you're going to be seeing. So many millions of parameters or weights. And if you can want it, you can also make it as a small language model also as well. So smaller training data you can have to make sure fewer parameters are working together. These are for small organization if they wanted to use the LLM model. So if you wanted to have a natural code languages, images, coding, etc., you can actually go and do it along with this kind of prompt. So you have to have a prompt in a generative AI chat session. So what are we actually planning for? There are a few things you have to keep in mind as the criteria for the prompt engineering. One is the system prompt, which is going to be a constraint. You're going to give a system prompt. Hey, this is the particular thing you're going to give as a description part. Use the prompt. You are giving your input. You can ask a specific question. You're having a contextual answers also as well. Completion response, how you're going to receive this. Here, the fact is you're going to be getting tokens. Whether you give a question, you're getting a response, you are consuming tokens over here. How many tokens is minimum spent to get a cost built? You have to have, use at least 1 million tokens to get it costed. Okay, so you have a separate, pricing model for that. You can see it'll just hardly take around $1.50 for $1 million, and based on your models also as well. So you have different kinds of models. You can go and check it out. So one of the things you have to see is history. History is also going to be calculated over here. You can have up to maximum of 20 history responses. So let's go for the next one. Now, you're going to be utilizing the generative AI based Foundry. So in this, I will just let you know how to be explain utilizing the, let's go for the lab, and then we will get started to understand how this particular thing works. So this is going to be, I'll just share my screen right now to the lab part. Okay, so if I'm going into the lab, let me just take my screen. Now you can see this is into my Azure right now. So if I go to Azure, I can now go to Microsoft Foundry over here. So I have the Microsoft Foundry. Here you can see the Microsoft Foundry. Once I go to Microsoft Foundry, you will be able to see the Foundry AI Hubs. Now let's go into the Foundry. What is the difference right now? If I go to AI Hubs, I can now go and create a AI Hub. If I go to Foundry and try to create a particular project, I should also come again and create a AI hub inside that, which is going to be a double work for us. Let's avoid that and go directly into the AI hub and create our projects. Now, if I go here, you can have the first project, second the hub. Let's go and create on hub. Now, as it's going to be taking a little bit of consuming of time, I've already created the hub, but let's go and finish it. I'm just giving the resource group name as Foundry. I've taken the region as Sweden Central. You can give any name. So I can give it as Aki Foundry. This is the Foundry project which I have been given. But yes, I can just give it as one. In the next, you have the storage. Why do I have a storage over here? I'll come to the storage part later because this is where you are supposed to be thinking up twice. Okay. The storage part is basically you are going to use every kind of a data. Imagine the storage is going to be around size of a 5 petabytes. Now you can eliminate the file storage, blob storage, file storage, queue storage, and the table storage. You get along with the containers itself, the blob storage. Now, once you have the blob storage, you can go and give enormous petabytes of data still over there. Once you give the petabytes of data, what you can actually do is help the models to be utilizing AI search, and you can perform your RAG. One of the fastest, most better ways is to use the Azure Blob Storage account. Now you can go and use the key. The key is for ensuring that you are going to be storing your keys, endpoints in this kind of a places where you can have a secure communication in the APIs. Now let's go for the inbound access. So if you would like to have it in your public network, you can have it in all your network. If you have a private endpoint, please ensure to keep your own private endpoint. Go for the outbound access. You can have this whether it is a public, all internet outbound, or any approved outbound. You can actually go and check it out based on your requirements. This is something a solution architect is definitely going into a big check. Let's go and review and create this particular session. Now, this is going to take a few moments of your time. So I'm not going to be creating. However, I have already created. So let me just go and click on that. So I have this particular Aki Foundry. Let me go to the Aki Foundry right now, and I'll just show you how to get the things done. Launch the Azure AI Foundry. In this AI Foundry, you can see this URL is from portal.azure.com. It has been redirected to ai.azure.com. Now, this is the management center. Now, in the management center, can you please repeat why we need storage? Okay, Prakash, if you imagine this, okay, if you have your own organization data, okay, it can be Word, it can be PDF, it can be Excel. And if you wanted, you can have all your log kinds of data, which is like your database kinds of all the things in the form of Excel, etc. All the formats, whichever you want, you can have a storage. You just need to connect the endpoint over here and you will be able to make your own RAG-based model. That is retrieval augmented generation. Hope that clarifies your question, Prakash. Okay. Organization data, yes. Not your data, organization data. I hope that's good. Yeah, super. Now let's go to the management centers. This is the place where you're going to be managing completely in this AI Foundry part. Now, if I go to the user, now imagine this particular place right now. Your organization is going to have lots of users working under the Microsoft Foundry. Guess what? You can go and give them in new users. You can actually go and have them. I don't have much of the users, but you can go have a user. You can give the role whether you want a contributor, Azure AI developer, reader. If you're having a newbie in your place, just give them the reader. If you know you have full confidence, give them the contributor role so that he or she can actually make the things much more better. If you know that the person is only for the development purpose, go for the Azure AI developer. But if you know he has to be the head of that particular situation and he can delete any kind of resources which is unnecessary in the real-time format, give him the owner. That's the rule cases you can go and give over here. Now, let me just cancel this. Models and endpoints. Models and endpoints are the place we are going to be definitely dealing with. Let's go in some time over there. What are the connected resources? If you wanted to connect it anything which is outside your organization, you can go and have. If you have a specified data sources, you can go and connect it over here. So these are some of the things like these are the basic, Azure models which you have it in your organization. You can go and have these also as well. Suppose if you wanted to deal with Microsoft Fabric, grounding Bing search, this is for like web search. If you wanted SharePoint and custom grounding on Bing custom, you can go for that. Third-party tool like Azure Databricks. Azure Databricks is also a very phenomenal one. You can go for that also as well. And if you want SERP, OpenAI, API keys, customs, and application insights, these are some of the places you can add your connections. Now, these things you can actually go and have for your organization also as well. Okay. Now, if I wanted to have a compute, no, not every organization is going to be going in serverless. Sometimes the computer instances also can be taken over here. Based on your virtual machine, if you're going to be taking as an instance, you can go and connect this instance over here and get the things started also as well. If you're choosing for serverless, go for the serverless base. This is one of the good appropriate messages. You just need to pay for the tokenization being used. Now let's go for the Microsoft Foundry. Okay. Once you go to Microsoft Foundry over here, you are just going to ensure to have lots of things which is going to be there. I'll just scroll down. Now go to the full model catalog. Okay. In the full model catalog, you are going to be seeing Do I still need Foundry when we have AI toolkit to play around the local? See, AI Foundry is basically used for enterprise level game. Okay, Prakash. So if you're for your organization, you wanted to have a generative AI app or you wanted to have agents in the organization level, enterprise level, where you're deploying for an application for your customer, then you're good to use that one. Okay. If you want AI toolkit, you can use Copilot also as well. For the local purpose, that is more than enough. Okay, Prakash. I hope that satisfies your answer. Cool. Now, in this particular place, can you just see the model leaderboards? This is a particular place you are supposed to keep your eyes on. Now, how would I actually determine which is actually my requirement for the customer basis? Now, when your customers say, hey, we do require a lot of AI to come in our relations. Now, AI is going to be coming definitely over there, but he has to know which AI. The only problem with the customers or yourself or me or with my clients is we don't know which model to be taken. The worst case scenario is we don't know that we don't know. Why do we need an AI in our application? But you know what? You need an AI so that you can actually sustain the market. Big change. Now let's go over here. You have to see the quality. Now, quality is something you have to be very, very cautious. When I say quality, it should not give you a wrong answer, but it should give you the relevant, good level of answer in the right context format. Quality wise, if you see GPT 5.2 Codex is quite good. Even for coding, 5.2 Codex is amazing and phenomenal. GPT 5.2 Claude Opus 4-6 is quite good. Whereas safety, if you're looking for a safety messages or you wanted to deal with guardrails in the inbuilt kind of format, GPT-5 Pro, Claude Haiku 4.5, GPT 5.2 Codex, again, this is coming under safety also as well. Cost-wise, GPT-5 Nano is very, very effective in cost-wise. Mistral is basically from Microsoft. GPT 4.1 Nano is also from this one. It's also a little bit in cost-wise. Throughput is very important. So how fast is your answer going to be getting over here? Throughput is going to play a huge role into this particular scenario. Cost and safety, yes, you want to play a very, very important game. Now, you have nearly 1,178 models. Now, just keep in mind this 1,178 models, which they are actually dealing with, is basically even Hugging Face models are completely there. Just go into huggingface.com and you will find more than 5,000 plus models free of cost. Try to use it for your local. This is going to be there. Now, compare the models. This is the first step. If you're a solution architect or a Gen AI architect and you're dealing with safety concerns, cost, quality, and everything, got to check it over here. This is how you're going to matrix it completely. So you can see this O3 is in this least position. Ranking is 16 by 47 and quality index. Ensure to use this cost versus quality index. How much is the cost regarding the quality index? You're going to be finding the matrix over here. So imagine if I go and try to use one particular model, like see, if I'm using GPT-5, it's still getting into this particular place. So these cannot be confirmed for now sometimes. So you have to be having a little bit huge support. But if I go for GPT 4.1, just confirm it and you will see GPT 4.1 is over here, but it's coming into the least step there. Okay. So you can see the cost wise, it's going to be the least. Claude Sonnet is like very, very high in this particular place. So you can go and check out, have your own quality indexes, have your own kinds of things, cost, latency, safety, and these are nothing but the machine learning scores which you have to think about. These are some things in machine learnings which you have to go deep to understand. Okay, so let's go into this kinds of situations and see what is the best fit for us. Now, once you are done with over here, then you can go and check which other kinds of models you wanted to have. Apart from these particular models, let me go for the Microsoft Foundry over here. Scroll down, you will find Azure AI services. Now, guess what? The previous course of AI 102, if you remember, you had all the services before. That is, I'm talking about 1.5 years ago. You had all the kinds of services, which is except minus generative AI. Now, generative AI came into the picture. They had one particular product called Azure OpenAI service. In order to make sure the things are getting better, they improvised Azure OpenAI, made one more product called Microsoft Foundry, integrated every single one-stop solution for everyone. Now, if you want to play with the speech service, content understanding, These are some of the best places. So if you go into speech, language plus translation, this is for the LLP, vision plus document, this is completely into the vision services, and you have the content safety. These are basically on AI generated contents. You can actually go and check it out. Sounds fair enough? You have all in one solution. You can go and take it up. What is the best for your organization? So you have to be very, very cautious what you are actually utilizing in the real time scenario. Okay. So you can actually go and explore this. This is a very place you can go and do. So just for example, if I go for view all speech services, if I'm planning to use the service, please ensure this, voice live, video translation, real-time transcription, fast transcription, batch transcription, and you can see speech, custom speech, pronunciation. This one I have used for IELTS. Okay, if I wanted to train on IELTS or Verset kind of exam, pronunciation assessment is very, very effective. It's very strict. That is one thing. It's very strict. If you wanted to have a different 400 plus kinds of different voices, voice gallery is one of the best places to go over here. Okay, these are some of the things you can go and play around. And if I go back, I can go to the language translator also as well. Now, the language translator is a place where you have extract information. For the real time, I would highly recommend go for AI 102 course, go in depth and understand this because it's not going to be covered in 1.5 hours. You can extract pi. That is like as you can go and take what is the personal identifiable information in a particular data. If I have a conversation, which are the most important points of the personal identifiable information, health information extraction, any named entities, all these things I can go and check it out. Okay, you can classify text, summarize the information in different format. You can make it in abstract, or you want it, you can make it in a this one entity based. That is also completely done. You can translate the particular documents also as well. If you have a whole document, you can convert it into a different language also as well, similar to what a Copilot can do with the licensed version. Now, if I actually go, let's go back. And if I go to the vision document, visions and documents, vision is like level 1, okay? Document search is like level 2, content understanding is level 3. So if you have a document and vision, go and check it out for this. These are some of the documents pre-built in invoice and formats are there. You have the face document also as well, which you can go and detect the faces. So Microsoft uses this face detection in a very, very wide scenario. Is Microsoft Agent Framework is going to replace Foundry? Not at all. Not at all. It's not going to work like that. No, it's not going to replace Foundry. Okay, Prakash? It won't replace anything Foundry. Foundry is like an enterprise kind of a tool. Agent Framework, I see MCP, you're actually asking. This one, semantic kernel. So Microsoft Agent Framework is basically ensuring that you are having a seamless connection and for the basis of memory. Okay, basically, if you wanted to remember all your steps across each other, whatever things you have done, then you're going to use Microsoft Agent Framework. And that's kind of a situation. Next, if you want to have any images, you have different kinds of situations, okay? Based on your particular situations, only go with the images. If you're not using all these particular things, then you don't need to. Suppose if you are having an e-commerce website and you wanted to have the tags, the dense captions, what is the objects, where you can go and make the things, everything you can do it in this particular place itself. Even if you write something and with your handwritten notes, you can actually go and look into the optical character recognition. This is also one of the places where you can go and have. So these are some of the Azure AI services which you are using. Now, if I go into this particular project name, which is like the default projects you can go and have, one of the things you are going to be looking is the API key. Now, the API key is the one which is going to help you in securing. You can use the keys and endpoints, but yeah, API key is quite good to go. Always go with the better way. You can store it in the key vault. This particular API key, you are to store it in the key vault. Now, you'll have three kinds of this one endpoints. One is the Azure AI inference. Some of the labs you will see it as a Microsoft Foundry. The other one is the Azure OpenAI endpoint, Azure AI service also as well. So these are the three endpoints. Now, if you're going with a traditional AI, such as you can go and use all the three endpoints, it still works. So these three endpoints is working like a multi-cognitive services. Okay, so you can use the keys and endpoints. You can also go with the Azure AI services for the traditional based endpoint also as well. So just a moment, I'll just log here. Now, model catalog. So model catalog we have already gone so far, but let's go and take one particular model and deploy it. Okay, so just I'm going to go for GPT-4o model. Let's go for GPT-4o model. You can actually go and have this particular thing. However, I would prefer to make sure the things are getting integrated. Let me go over here and show you in the different kinds of situations. Okay, so this is the place where I would. Now, this is our labs which we use in Azure AI 102. Now, let me show you how this particular thing is going to be working. Okay. Here, I'm now going into this particular ai.azure.com. So this is the ai.azure.com. I'm just going to go over here. Inside the ai.azure.com, I'm going to click on sign in. Once I click on sign in, I can give the username and password. So this is how you can practice it seamlessly inside your real time. So the tap access. Now, why do I have a tap access over here? If Microsoft has given a user one, something like hyphen, it gives you a direct tap access, which means you don't need a multi-factor authentication and you can use it for the, this one, training purpose. So I'm using the tap access, click on save, click on yes, and let's go and see how it is going to work. So I have this particular GPT-4o model. Here you have lots of hundreds of policies, but let's go ahead and make our GPT-4o model. So scroll down. You have already seen the Go Full mod catalog. Let me take a GPT-4o model. So I'm just utilizing this particular model. Once you have this particular model, I'm going to use this model. Okay. Now, before you go into the model, see the benchmarks. This is something which a solution architect will go and check out. GPT-4o model, AI quality is over here. It's like 0.74 is the quality. Estimated cost, like small cost. That's it. Throughput is quite high in GPT-4o. That's a very good one. So you can see these are some of the data which you can see over utilizing the GPT-4o model. So yes, it's a good one to go with. Use this particular model. Now, when you go and utilize this model, let's go and create a new project. Okay. So when you're creating a new project, I will have to ensure there is a filling up. So I'm just giving the project name, the same thing over here. Let's go and utilize the project. And let's see which is the East US2. So it's in East US2. Let me give the resource group one. Now just keep remembering this. This is a particular sandbox kind of an environment. Let's go and create and continue. You set up this. When you're customizing, here you have to see. This is the interview questions I basically go and ask everyone over here. See, you can see it is minimum 1K we are going to use. But how much is the maximum tokens we are going to have? We are going to have maximum up to 30 million token. Trust me, you don't require so much of token. Over here, let's go and make it up to 50K. So this, as per our requirements, we will have up to 50K tokens. So I'm just making sure it's up to 49K. That's more than enough. Let's click on deploy. Okay. Once you have deployed over here, you can see this is going to be the way you can see. Now, key is going to be there. Python language is also there. And you can see these are different languages, whether you want it in Python or whether you want it in JavaScript, REST, Java, C Sharp. Yes, you can go and do anything of your choice over here. Now, once you go over here, you can go to the playground and just go for a good test. Okay. Before you go into the good test, see this particular part over here. Okay. You have the show setup. Now, if you are a particular solution architect going to see much more things, please ensure to go down and check for add your data. So add your data is basically for like Azure AI search. If you wanted to connect with your blob storage, you can have. It's a lengthy process, but yes, you can do that. Parameters is something you have to see. Now in the parameter section, you can go and have pass message includes. Now, if I want up to minimum of 1 passed messages, up to maximum up to 20 passed messages. So I just to keep it like minimum 10 is good enough. So all your past messages, what you have recorded, it can go and ensure to look into that. Next, if I wanted the max response, right? Max response is the number of tokens which is going to be given in a single short answer. The minimum, it can go from 1. Trust me, this is not a useful purpose. But if you go max, it is going to be 16,384. Type it in the chat. 16,384 is a max response you're going to be getting into this particular response. Type it in the chat. And it's an interview questions. Okay, basically, when I'm taking any person into my team, I ask these kinds of basic questions. How much is the max response you get it from this one particular Azure AI Foundry? So 16,384 is the max response. I'll just keep it minimum. What is the temperature? Temperature is nothing but your creativity. So if I'm actually going from 0 to this one, it is the creativity. So if I'm going to 0 to 0.3 somewhere, let's keep it like 0.3. This is the temperature required to do non-creative activities. When I say non-creative activities, if you're doing integration, differentiation, calculations, or mathematical based activities, then you can go with this particular temperature range. Zero creativity is required. But let's suppose if you are like going into making some emails, draft messages, and things are which is like generic as needed, you can go with this particular temperature. This is going to be enough thing. However, if you are going to be a marketer and you wanted to have a lots and lots of creativity to attract the clients or the blogging experience, then go for the high level temperature. Now keep in mind, higher the temperature, higher the tokens are used. If the higher the tokens, higher the cost is going to incur. This is something you have to see. Top P is the one which is going to be taking care for the randomness. So it is perpendicularly dependent on the temperature. If you are utilizing temperature, top P is going to be one of the important things you will have to look. Now, stop sequence. Do you know why do we use stop sequence? Let me give you the example. Okay, Sam Altman told that in a month he's actually spending $750 on GPUs, $750 million on the GPUs using two words. Which are those two words? Type it in the chat. Please, thank you are the two words which he's actually spending a lot of words. Imagine you're pressurizing this particular Gen AI model to give you a lot of, hey, please, can you help me out with this? Thank you so much. You're becoming so much more into this. Stop sequence helps you in ensuring that place. And like you says, thank you, you get welcome. That's more than enough. Don't even go further down the line for this particular situation. Okay, this is where stop sequence are supposed to be used. Now, what is frequency penalty? Repeated words to be stopped. Okay, if I'm using one particular sentence and a word again and again in my frame, this is going to be a very shabby one when I'm utilizing a generative AI. In order to stop that, frequency penalty is there. So it starts from 0 to 2, you can actually go. What do you mean by the term presence penalty? Now, people will be asking, what is the difference between them? There is a difference, present penalty and frequency penalty. What do you mean by the term presence penalty? Let's imagine this particular situation. Okay, you have a particular topic, whichever has been given, and if AI is able to introduce a new topic, something which can create a curiosity, that is called as presence penalty. So it is very important for AI to keep you engaged. And the best way to keep you engaged is by utilizing the presence penalty, the recommendations, and much more. This is what it gives you, the presence penalty for updates. So yes, these are some of the things as a basics you are supposed to understand, right? Let's go forward and check out what is this other things you're going to see. Now, if I go and give it over here, hey, which is the fastest animal in the world? This is my question. Okay, let's go and see which is the fastest animal in the world. And it's going to be looking into this. Now, just see this. This is a little bit time consumption. Okay, just remember this. So it's going to see this answer. The Paragon Falcon. Okay, I have never heard this particular falcon in my life until AI told me this. So it's not asking like which is the fastest animal in the land or something. It's asking for the animal. So it can be a bird also. It can actually go. This is a very, very fast one. You can ask for cheetah and much more also. You can go and check it out. How presence penalty and temperature are different. Okay, presence penalty. See, temperature is going to be helping you in creative words. Now, the creative words are basically into lots of vectorization. Okay, these vectorization, it has to go and check out which is the right words. Here, the top P is also going to be getting involved. Whereas the presence penalty, if you go and increase over here, the number of topics, whatever you would like to involve in this, to ensure that it is making sense to you is where you're going to utilize the presence penalty. Both are completely different over here. You make the temperature high and make presence penalty 0, you're going to get on the content itself. However, if you wanted to know much more in detail, then you can go and use the presence penalty to understand what are the different various aspects that can get involved. Now, once you're done with this particular thing, okay, just go to a little bit scroll up. See, if you are looking to deploy it in a web app service, you can go and deploy this in a web app service also. So if you have a web app service, existing web app service, go ahead and deploy. Give the web app name, make sure you are unique into this, and you can give whichever subscription model. I have a particular subscription, give a particular resource group, okay? And see, I don't have a web app, but you can go and select any kind of a location, and this way you can go and deploy a web app. This is the simplest format, which I was actually mentioning it as serverless method. Hope that makes sense over here. So this is something, due to the policies, I won't able to deploy it over here. Neither can I deploy it in my local because they will require a quotas and a little bit of expense into that. Now, one of the important things which we are going to look forward is for this portal.azure.com. So let me just ensure to close this, and I'm just going into the portal.azure.com. So here's the portal.azure.com. In the portal.azure.com, automatically it is going to log in. From here, I'm going to show how you can go and develop your application. So you're going to go into the PowerShell. So you can go to the Cloud Shell over here. Inside the Cloud Shell, please go to ensure that you are going to the PowerShell. Click on the tab, ensure to give an apply. No storage is required. But here I'm going to go for classic version. Now I'm just going into this. So the first thing I'm just going to do is ensuring to remove what is the unnecessary files over here. So if somebody has used this virtual machine before me, this will help them to clear up the virtual machine in the backend. So I'm just utilizing this git clone and everything. Let's give an enter. And I can use the CLS command also as well to clear my screen. Now let's go for this. Here we are going to use the change directory method. So let me just go and change the directory. You're going to see the list of permissions also as well. I'm into the change directory method. However, if I wanted to ensure the Python code is going to be running over here, I have to ensure that these particular things are getting done. A Foundry project is getting deployed as an app service. I would say the model is the one which is getting deployed as an app service over there. Okay, not just see one is part of the model. You can actually get the Foundry project deployed over there. Now let's go over here. I'm using this one by one. Okay, so I'll just use a notepad over here. And let me ensure that this one by one line at a time, I'm just going to put this. So I think I made a mistake somewhere here. PS1. So I'm just going to ensure these particular packages are going to get installed. So this is the PS1 is basically the PowerShell script. Let me go and deploy this also as well. So this is a particular package pip install for this OpenAI projects. I'm just going to install these. Okay, just don't need to know what are these particular packages. These are basically the packages you can go and install into this. Okay, now the package has been involved. Let me just clear this particular screen. Okay, C S. Okay, code.env. Let's go to the code.env and going to enter over here. Here's the first thing. You're going to give the project endpoint. Where will I find the project endpoint? It's very important right now. Now let's go over here in the chat. Let's go for this one, home page. So you have to go to the overview homepage. You will see the Azure Microsoft Foundry. Click on this endpoint, paste it over here. First thing, ensure that you are pasting. So remove this, Control V, will Control S. Okay. Second thing, you need to see which is the model over here. So I'll just ensure to go to the model plus endpoints, take the model, which is the model over here, GPT-4o model. Copy this, and now go and paste it over here. So our first task is to see what is this particular thing. Now, however, please ensure that you are doing it correctly over here. Control S. Ensure to put it in double colons over here. Okay. Once you have done this, next, what you can do, you can give Control S, Control Q. So let me just give Control Q. Here now we are going to go for the coding part. Now the coding part is codechatapp.py. Let me just go for codechatapp.py. And yes, here's the thing right now. You are dealing with Python. So indentation error is quite inevitable. What we can do is I'll just ensure to do this particular thing. So Control A, let's go. And I'm going to ensure to add these codes one by one. Okay. So I'm just going to copy this, Control C, and give it in the first line over here, Control V. So it's making sure it is in the right place. Next, let me just go for the initializing of the project. So initializing the project is quite a bit important when you are going into this particular mode. Let's take all the things over here. I'm just doing together with this particular indentation also as well. Okay. In this place, I'm just going to paste it. Once I paste it, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give tab space 1, tab space 2. It's going to be underneath. So let's go and ensure to complete each and every chat text. Okay. Now next is get chat client.py. Let's copy this and paste it over here. Control V. And you're just ensuring this has been done. Prompt is also there. Let's go for initializing the prompt systems. Once you initialize it, let's go here into this particular place. Okay. And I'm just going to give Control V. In this, I'm just going to highlight tab space 1, 2. That's it. Now we have this get chat completion. Let's go over here. This is the last part. Highlight this, Control C, and let's go over here, Control V, and ensure that you are aligning this perfectly. Okay, Control S and Control Q. So we have done with the coding part right now. Let's go and log in first of all. Now, why is this step? Why should I do AZ login? This is a very important question over here. If you remember, we have not used keys over there. We just used the endpoint. Now, how do I ensure that that particular endpoint is getting validated? It's a very important question. That kind of a scenario, you're supposed to use AZ login. Let's assume I have a particular endpoint. I give it to my friend. My friend tries to use this endpoint, but he doesn't have the key. Once he starts to use, don't you think the bill will start in my name? In order to avoid that particular conflict, it is going to ask a system login. So let's go for this AZ login over here. So let me just give this. Okay. Once you give the AZ login, you'll see a device login method. Click on this particular place and give this particular code. Copy, and I'm just going to paste it over here. Okay. Once the device login is there, it's going to ensure authentication. Let's go and authenticate it over here. Click on continue. Now, once this particular username is getting authenticated, this is now going to give you the details. Ensure which subscription do you like to have. I have the only one subscription. Just go with that same subscription and you're good to go here. Extra. Now let's go and have this particular thing, Python chat app.py. I'm just using the backend interfaces over here. Okay, let's see which is the fastest animal in the world. If I have an error, it will be giving me an error. But if it is rightly copy pasted, then it is good to give me my prompts. Okay, so you can see my code was quite good. I have just copy pasted in the right format with the indentation. You can see how the code is getting integrated from the backend. If you're having any kind of an application, if you wanted the keys, endpoints, you can go and make your things work effectively also as well. So let me ask, where can I see one? Let me just go and put this. And are they endangered? Let me go and give this. So it's taking a little bit of time, but let's see. Now, understand, it's actually utilizing the tokens in the background to make a lot of effort. So let's wait and watch how the answers are going to be replied. Okay, you can see this is a very lengthy answer. So you can actually go and check out this is there. Let's ensure to quit this thing up. Enter. Okay, let's clear the screen. This is how you're going to be integrating the Microsoft, Foundry into any of your AI 102 services. I hope you guys have liked this particular thing so far. Okay, this is the prompt given to that model. Yes, you can ask any other questions also as well. GPT-4 model will able to answer that. If you're going with the higher models, you can go and get the creative-based answers also as well. Normal. Okay. So yes, this is how you can go and develop your models and endpoints completely from a organization. So if you try to do it with different kinds of model, then you can have a different varieties of answers. Now, guys, as we have actually come to this particular understanding, we also have one more thing. Okay, what is that one more thing which we are actually looking for? If you want, you can look into the agent side also as well. If you are looking for any kinds of agents you wanted to build, go ahead and go and build your agents also as well. This is also a possible method. Let me stop sharing my screen and let me get into the my portal itself directly from my Azure portal. So where is my Azure portal? Yes, here it is. Let's go and build from here. Okay. Now here, if I'm actually going, I can go to my Microsoft Foundry and I can actually go and build my agents. So if I go and create an agent, I can have my expense agent. Okay. So this is my expense agent, which I can go and build. So expense agent resource domain name is unavailable. Good. So explain agent, I just need to just ensure whatever is the project, let me just go and create the default project, okay? And it's quite good. Let's go and create. It's going to take around 1 or 2 minutes. You can go and create your own agents also as well. So I'll just show you how this particular thing is going to be working. Cool. Now, I'm just going to be taking one more thing. So I'm just going to give AI-3016, no, 3026 GitHub Labs. And this, I'm just going to demo you one particular thing. I'm just going to be utilizing the instruction part of it. Okay, just like the XP exercise, I'm just going to launch this one. Okay, I just need this particular cases where I just need the instructions and much more. Okay, your agent is now going to get deployed. Once your agent is getting deployed, you're supposed to train with this. Let's go and utilize the models over here also as well. So if you want to have a GPT-4o model, just ensure to go and type for GPT-4o. So I'm just going to go for GPT-4o model. Let's go and ensure that it's getting loaded. Okay, I'm just taking GPT-4o, confirm. I'm just going to use the basic one. So if I have how much 50K tokens, yes, I'm going to use those particular one. If you have seen in the generative AI method, you have been doing it in the setup pane, which is the left-hand side. But when you come to the agent, you will see the setup pane in the right-hand side. Okay, so here I'm going to go and add a knowledge. Adding a knowledge base is a very important. So when I click on this, I can go and upload on files, Azure AI searches, Fabric, SharePoint. These are some of the things you can go and see. Morningstar is a very good one for any banking based and research analysts. Good to go with that. Okay, for now, I'm just going to take for this one. I'm going to give the name as expense agent. Okay, expense agent, and select the folder, which is the selected folder. I'll give as expense. Okay, EXPENS, expense. Where is that? Expense policy 2. Let's go over here. So it's been uploaded, upload and save. So first thing, I'm going to upload my data over here. Once the data has been uploaded completely, then I'm going to ensure to have it done. Okay, so data has been done. Next, temperature top P is quite one. So creativity is like Asman par chuka hai, that is already one. Okay. Next, if I wanted to go and see some of the things like this one, actions. In the actions, you're going to see code interpreter, open API, Azure Logic Apps. Now, I think one of the doubts were asked where you can actually go and utilize RPA kinds of questions. Here's your answer. Here you can use Azure Logic Apps. This is going to act like a RPA kind of activity over there completely. Robotic process automation, this can also take care in behalf of your activity. If you're going to integrate everything, Azure Logic Apps. So for now, I'm going to use the code interpreter method. Click on save, keep it ready. Okay. Now, once you are done, see, you have this particular instruction to be filled. So once you have to have the instruction, so I'll just take this particular instruction from here. So this is the instruction. I'm just copying and pasting it in my agent, and I'll ensure to save it. Okay. And yes, let me go and ask the particular questions over here. Okay. So what's the maximum number of the meal I can go and ask? So I'll just ask this particular question. This is the agent. Okay. So you understand? It's quite like an agent. Okay, wait. Deployment for this does not, if you have created deployment last, okay, that is because you have created this in the last 5 minutes. It is going to take some little bit of time. Okay, so it's going to be a very, sometimes it's going to be taking, already a file is there, code interpreter is there, and it'll take some time to be deployed over here. So this is how you can go and see the answers. Deployment is invalid. It can take some time. But however, if you're looking for making this thing run, you can actually ask these questions and it will give you a particular response. So one of the responses, if I'm actually going to be giving you, is expense claim. So this is actually made by my this one, agent instance. This is how, if you wanted to download it, you can go and download this in this particular format. If you like it in PDF, Excel, completely fine. You can do that also as well. This is one of the things you can actually go and do for yourself. Now, agents understand this. Agent is one particular thing which you're going to be utilizing if you wanted to think, take a decision and act behalf of your user. So you can have A to A agent also as well. That is agent to agent connections. You can have model context protocol. You can have a Microsoft agentic framework, and you can also do multi-agent frameworks in all in one particular place. So you have to be willing to know how this particular coding part will be taking care. Okay, okay team, thank you very much. And Akhilesh K is signing out. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.